Civil services replaces patronage. Patronage was a big problem in the government. Patronage is basically where people believe that civil jobs should be for people who voted for a certain person instead of someone who's qualified. Reformers were people who wanted to put an end to patronage, and stalwarts were people who wanted to keep patronage. Rutherford Hayes was elected in 1876 and wanted to reform against patronage, but could not get the Congress to support, so he fired two of the top officials of New York City's Customs House, which was part of the Republican Party. He did not run for re-election, which started conflicts with the reformers and those who wanted to keep patronage. The stalwarts and reformers couldn't settle, so they nominated an independent, James Garfield, who supported reformers, and a vice president, Chester Arthur, who supported the stalwarts to hopefully get an even amount of views for each side. Garfield was shot in a train station in the summer of 1881, and he died from his wounds the following fall. And then Arthur became president. When Arthur became president, he switched from a stalwart to reformer, and his first action was to urge legislators to pass a civil service law, which resulted in the Pendleton Town Civil Service Act. The Pendleton Service Act authorized a bipartisan civil service commission, which says that people will be hired because of their skill and qualification, not by who they supported. Roosevelt was elected in 1899 as New York's governor, and he put the public interest first, and he refused to fill civil jobs through patronage.
The emergence of political machines. In the late 19th century, cities grew quickly under poor government control due to immigrants moving in. The political machine controlled political activities in the city and offered services to voters and businesses in exchange for political or financial support. After the Civil War, political machines ran the local government in Baltimore, New York, San Francisco, and other large cities. The machine was a pyramid with local precinct workers who worked to get voters' support in neighborhoods. These people are at the bottom of the pyramid, and they report to a ward boss. Ward bosses helped the poor to gain votes, and they worked in the middle of the pyramid. Martin Lamosny was elected a ward boss, and he said, "There's got to be in every ward somebody that any bloke can come to and get help. Help, you understand, none of your law and justice, but help." The pyramid boss was at the top, and they controlled the political party throughout the city. All levels of the pyramid worked together to elect the best candidates possible to guarantee success. The political boss controlled access to municipal jobs and businesses' licenses while influencing courts and other municipal agencies. Political bosses gave money to schools, hospitals, and orphanages, and they also provided government support for new businesses, which paid well and gained votes. Precinct captains were usually first or second generation immigrants, so they could speak to immigrants in their own language and they understood their issues. Many precinct workers became political bosses by helping immigrants to gain votes.
Municipal Grafton scandal. Machines accepted bribes to allow illegal activities such as gambling to flourish. Political machines also granted favors to business in return for cash. The construction of the New York courthouse involved extravagant graft. The project cost taxpayers $13 million, but the actual construction cost $3 million. The other $10 million went to the pockets of Tweed and his followers. Thomas Nast, a political cartoonist, helped provoke public outrage against Tammany Hall's graft. The Tweed ring was finally broken in 1871. Tweed had 120 counts of fraud and extortion and was sentenced to jail for 12 years. Tweed's sentence was reduced to 1 year, but after leaving jail, he was quickly arrested on another charge. While serving Tweed's second sentence, he escaped. He was captured in Spain when officials recognized him from a Thomas Nast cartoon. By that time, political corruption had become a national issue.
Business buys influence. In 1901, more than 40% of all federal jobs had been classified as civil service positions. Alliances between the government and big businesses had been made. In 1884, Cleveland had tried to lower the tariff rates because they had increased prices, but Congress did not support his actions. In 1888, Cleveland had run for re-election for low tariff rates, but his opponent had wanted higher tariff rates. Cleveland ended up winning with 100,000 more popular votes than his opponent. In 1892, he was elected again, the only president to serve 2 non-consecutive terms. Cleveland still supported lowering the tariff rates.